Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson. We're going to have a show today. We're going to talk, it's going to be kind of a cross between a Christmas list and New Year's resolutions and moving forward, and some of the things that I see on farms and ranches on a day-to-day basis, producers wanting to do better. Thanks for joining us and stay tuned for the show.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. Dr. Dan here. First of all, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We've all got a lot of good things going on in our lives. We've had some tough times, some good times in 2016, and we're moving into 2017. And I thought, you know, I'd like to do a show that's maybe a little more personal, something that we can spend some time together. It's not going to be cookie cutter or something, a one size that fits all, but I want to talk about New Year's resolutions, talk about moving on, moving to the next project or goal on your farm and ranch. And I think that some of the things that we get caught in as far as beef producers and farmers and ranchers and veterinarians and I don't know, maybe, you know, someone owns a pizza shop, we all have the same issues is, you know, trying to figure out what projects we want to do. We see, you know, I walk into my house or walk out onto a farm and you see things that you want to fix. And what we tend to want to do is eat the elephant in one bite, and we start on a whole bunch of different projects and don't get them finished because we're going to fix everything this year at once. And where we're at in the commitment curve, where we're at on starting projects, sticking to them and finishing them, one of the things that you can do to kind of stay out of paralyzed indecision, which to me is the starting, looking at your production unit or your operation or your farm or your ranch as a total unit, and you say, well, I want to fix all these things this year, gets us trapped in paralyzed indecision because we don't know which one to grab a hold of first. We try to grab a hold of them all. What I would really suggest we do is we pick out one or two or three bites that we want to take and really follow through on them. Probably the best example in the beef industry to me is when we decided we wanted to change injection sites. And we went and we focused on continuing education, we focused on providing wet labs, and we really made that a priority of moving injection sites from the top butt to the neck. And when we do that, we were very successful. New Year's resolutions date back to the Julius Caesar time period. And really what New Year's resolutions were a time for a new start and a fresh start. So at the end of the year, they decided, we had some bad things happen this year. Let's forget about the past. Let's partition that off, and let's move on to a new year, to new resolutions. And it's really about moving forward. And about New Year's resolutions and making a resolution for your farm or ranch, one of the things that is interesting to me is that 45% of Americans set New Year's resolutions. And only 8% of the people that set New Year's resolutions actually follow through and are successful. But most importantly, the people who write them down or the people who make a New Year's resolution, they are 10 times more likely to actually accomplish that resolution or accomplish that project than someone who doesn't set one at all. So while the odds are not in our favor of succeeding in getting this project done or this new paradigm in your farm or ranch, if you write it down and if you make it a known goal for you and your family and the people working around you, you have 10 times more chance of actually accomplishing that goal than you would if you don't do it at all. So what we're going to do here today is we're going to talk about setting those New Year's resolutions for your farm and ranch, setting some new goals, giving you some ideas. Thanks for watching the show. and we'll see you here after these messages.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment is brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here, and I'm at Kansas State University, and we're talking about New Year's resolutions or moving forward in your operations. And in 1950, Norman Vincent Peale wrote an article in the St. Petersburg Times on New Year's resolutions. And he had heard a physician at Yale give a talk about an ocean liner that came across the Atlantic Ocean. And with the press of a button, the captain on that ocean liner could hit a button and it would wall off the bulkhead underneath the ship if there would become a leak. And what those dropping doors would do is they would seal off one area of the ship and allow the ship to stay afloat. And he likened that to being able to let go of the past and to be able to shut a door on the past. And so when you think about New Year's resolutions, and Norman Vincent Peale said he was against New Year's resolutions because he felt if it was something that was worth being a resolution, you should be doing it every day, not just once a year. But it's really about taking a moment in time that we're going to wall off the bulkhead and forget about some of the things in the past and start working forward towards new goals. What I see on operations, one of the things we can't forget about is our experiences of handling cattle, things that we did right or wrong in the past, of management practices, things that we did during storms or droughts and things to that nature, because that's learning and taking those types of educational opportunities or management practices forward. When I see on ranches, farms, ranches, veterinary clinics and things to that nature, on things that we really need to shut that bulkhead and wall off in the past, are things that are the human-to-human interactions in our workplaces. And so I guess that's one of the things that before we can move forward with new goals with the same team, if we have things that are in the past that maybe that person didn't show up for work on time, or maybe something didn't happen, we need to either talk about it now and move past that so that we can work together as a team towards new goals, or we need to have a new team. And I think that those are some of the things that I think about of moving forward by letting go of the past. When we start to think about this, for me, the hardest part, and I'll use myself as an example, the hardest part for me is forgiving and forgetting and letting go. I'm really good at charging on to the new project. I'm really good at committing to the new project. And it's something that I have to constantly work on with our team members, and I tend to think about things that happened in the past. When you start to get past that, that's when, especially with your team and with the people that work with you on your farm, ranch, or veterinary clinic, starting there and then moving forward is when we're going to be able to start setting goals and moving to the mark. When you see it in biblical terms, it says, to forgetting those things that are behind us and reaching forward to those things that are before, I will press forward to the mark. So we got to forget, we got to set things that we're going to do tomorrow, and we got to go after the things that we write down on the mark. More after these messages.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
The BQA Tip of the Day, sponsored by Beringer Engelheim Vetmedica Inc.
Howdy, I'm Kurt Pate with the Tip of the Day. We deal with a lot of bulls around this place, and we get along with them pretty good because we work them a lot. And if you work them properly and move them quite a bit, the fighting will reduce, and every time you move them, they learn to take pressure, and then when you start to work with them, they don't start fighting each other.
I'm Rexanne Struve, veterinarian in Western Iowa. I have a veterinary clinic and started doing stem cell therapy on dogs in August of 2014. And after the first 2 dogs, after 3 weeks, I saw such dramatic results. I said, hey, I have arthritis. I have joints, really need this help. Where can I go to get this done? I had stem cell therapy done in November of 2014 on my finger joints, my hip, and the ball of my left foot, all of which I'd had real severe problems with. Saw a pretty dramatic improvement in a short amount of time. I would certainly recommend that somebody don't wait until I'm in the position that I was in with the damage already done to my joints. I encourage veterinarians to use it for their animals, and I encourage anybody who sees this video, if you have need, get in contact with these people because this is a phenomenal place to have this done.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here. We're talking about setting New Year's resolutions, and I set them. I try to set them all the time and move forward. And now we're going to get to the part that I think is easier for most, and that's, okay, I want to sit down, I want to write down some goals and commit to them. Well, one of the things on farms and ranches, veterinary clinics, any kind of business you have, the first thing you have to do is prioritize. And a professor walks into a classroom and he sets some big rocks, some little rocks, some sand on the table, and he takes a mason jar and he sets it out. He says, all right, I want to put all of these components in this jar. And so which ones would you put in first? And what it comes down to is you have to put the big rocks in first, followed by the smaller rocks, and then you put in the sand, which will fill in around the cracks. And what this represents is the bigger rocks are your priorities. And those are the things that you have to put in the mason jar first. So when you start to think about things on your ranch or in your feedlot or dairy, hog operation, and you start to think about the big rocks, animal health, environmental stewardship, food safety and security, performance and efficiency. All of these different things are part of your core or part of your core values. And so I start to figure out what are our core values, what would be a priority or what would be a project within those core areas would be one that we're going to work on this year. And you whittle it down to the sand or to some of those things that once you've covered the basics, then you can start to develop more projects and simpler projects, but we really need to focus on the core. So let's take an example of animal handling or animal welfare on your farm and ranch. And one of the first things that'd be a simple goal would be beef quality assurance certified, you and your ranch members, or to look at some other type of training that you say, I'm going to get better in this area. And if you're going to, look for opportunities with your extension service. Talk to your veterinarian, talk to your nutritionist about opportunities to glean knowledge in these topic areas. I could think of a lot of them when it comes to AI efficiency, when I think to pregnancy and conception rates, when I think about the nutrition of my cow herd and really dialing in on our nutrition, starting to work on cutting expenses and improving performance, the adoption of technology within your farm and ranch, whether it's the capabilities of looking at record systems, drones, different technology products, whether it's steroid implants, developing a program to improve the feed efficiency, new vaccination protocols, things to that nature. Just some things that I'm spitballing that all wind up being in the core of the big rocks. Animal health, production efficiency, and profitability of your ranch, income streams, cost, things to those natures that are going to be things that are going to come back to you and things that we can work on as a team. You have to make sure the team is on board, you have to write the goals down, and you have to track and report back to yourself on how you're making progress on these goals. When we come back, we're going to do a wrap-up on New Year's resolutions for the farm and ranch. I really appreciate you joining me on DocTalk all these years. I'll see you here after these messages.
Broadband has become as important to us as highways. That is why DocTalk is teaming up with NTCA, the Rural Broadband Association, and rural broadband companies like Blue Valley Telecommunications in fighting for quality broadband access through the program Smart Rural Communities.
I don't think we have any idea what's coming in the future. I couldn't have imagined 5 years ago what we're doing today. So in 2 years, I would guess there's things we can't imagine that we're going to be doing.
To learn more, visit ntca.org/smart or bluevalley.net.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This Meet the Future Veterinarian is brought to you by Zuprevo. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment.
Ellen Unruh grew up in East Central Kansas and earned her bachelor's degree in animal science from Kansas State University before attending veterinary school there. She is currently working on her master's degree in veterinary biomedical sciences, studying heat stress in feedlot cattle. Upon graduation, Ellen will focus on food animal medicine and do beef cattle research work.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at KFRM.com or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher, leaving more time to tend to other vital tasks on the farm. To learn more, visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan here with you from Kansas State University, and again, as I signed off, I said thanks. I'll sign on by saying thanks. This is a lot of fun. I love it when people come up and say hey to us in the airports or when we're doing production meetings or producers meetings across the country. And we're talking about New Year's resolutions. We're talking about making a list. You have to write it down. You have to set smart, attainable goals. You have to get the team on board. And the one thing that when I was at Cactus Feeders, we were setting goals, and one of our human resources persons came in and we were talking about developing these new projects and developing young people on our farms and on our feedlots and understanding what they go through. And really what struck me was great was this commitment curve. And you can see here on this commitment curve, on the y-axis we have the level of commitment, and then we have time after we start the project or start the new job there on the x-axis. And what happens is when we first start a job or a project, our commitment level is really high. And so at the beginning we're kind of in the honeymoon phase, right, of the project or the job, and our commitment level's high. We call this point in time in the job or project uninformed optimism, okay? And so we really don't know yet what this is all going to entail, but everybody's excited and we're starting anew and we're moving forward. Well, we get into that project and time starts going on and we start to see that it's maybe not as easy, maybe not as glamorous as what we thought it was going to be, but our commitment level starts to drop. And this is when most projects are abandoned. This is when most jobs are changed. And it's what you have to have an understanding is, regardless of the project or regardless of the job, you're going to go through this uninformed optimism peak at the beginning, followed by this trough of commitment, which is called informed pessimism. All right, you ever been there? I have. And so you get to informed pessimism, and that's when we quit. And the people who don't quit, the people that can fight through this point and understand where you're at on this project of being in that informed pessimism, you can see the commitment level starts to drive. That's when good managers, that's when good farm operators get their employees around the table and say, I understand this isn't as easy, but the goal in mind is something that's going to be better for our cattle. It's something that's going to be better for you and I in the long run as far as the amount of time we have to spend on this farm and ranch. And it's going to allow us to do other things once we solve this. So after you fight through the informed pessimism, our commitment level starts to rise again. We get to informed realism. And we start to understand that this is really working. This is making improvements. It's bringing back margin to the farm. It's improving our animal welfare. It's improving the health, the performance, all these things that we want to do for the animals that take care of us. And then at the end of it, as you continue to build and develop these, you get to informed optimism. So understanding that commitment curve, wall off the past, set new goals, write them down, figure out how you're going to keep track of success, and then getting the team on board, understanding the commitment curve as you go forward are all important things in this year's New Year's resolution. Remember, always work with your local veterinarian, and if you want to know more about us, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson. Thanks for watching Doc Talk, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.